Hello, everybody. So I created an assignment that is it's called Delta Trig Practice, and it is not graded. It's not going to go into Infinite Campus. The whole purpose of that assignment is to benefit you and to act as just like a safe sandbox or just a practice field for you to practice trig and get better and better and better at foundational trig stuff and also the unit circle, which includes the unit circle. There are a lot of things on here. I put the due date as like March 26th or April 20th. I can't remember. I'm not really concerned about the due date. All I really am concerned about is that each one of you find some time to just practice some of these. And you feel free to bounce around. You don't have to do them in any order, but this is going to be open for months for your benefit. So you can just, this is just a great way to practice. And so what I want to do is demonstrate the first several, and we'll see where we go. So signs of trig functions. So this is asking which quadrant does theta lie in? And I know that sine of theta is greater than 0, so sine is positive, and cosine of theta is greater than 0, so cosine is positive. And remember, the quadrants run counterclockwise. So quadrant 1 has everything's positive in quadrant 1. You got quadrant 2, where only the x's are negative. Quadrant 3, everything is negative. And quadrant 4, the y values are negative. So since I know that sine is positive, my y value is up. So I'm in either quadrant 1 or 2. And cosine is positive. So they're both x and y are positive. So I must be in quadrant 1. And then let's try a different one. Sines of all 6 trig functions. Okay, so sines again. Now a little bit more complicated. I know that secant is less than 0. Remember, secant is just cosine, the reciprocal of cosine. The reciprocal of cosine. So if cosine is negative, then so is secant. So if cosine is negative, then I'm over here because cosine is x. Remember, if x is negative, then so is its reciprocal. But the other one is cosecant is positive. Cosecant is the y value flipped over. It's sign flipped over. So I got an x that's negative and a y that is positive. If y is positive, I'm up here. And therefore, it must be quadrant 2. Again, the same question. This is level 2, signs of all 6 trig functions. And this is a great one. So look at what we've got. We've got the cosecant is negative. Remember, the cosecant is the y value flipped over. So if the cosecant, if the y value is negative, then so is the cosecant. If sine's negative, so is cosecant. So I know I'm in either quadrant 3 or quadrant 4. What else did it say? The sine times the tangent is negative. Remember, the cosecant was negative, so that means the sine is negative. So on the right side, when you have a sine times a tangent, you've got a negative times something is less than 0. Well, tangent has to be positive because only a negative times a positive will get you something less than 0. So on that problem, I know that the tangent of the angle is positive. Okay? Well, tangent is y divided by x. So how could you take y divided by x and get a positive answer? Either both y and x are positive, because a positive divided by positive is positive, or y and x are both negative, because a negative divided by a negative is positive. And as you can see, it must be quadrant 3 where theta is. Quadrant 3. Use trig to find a side. So here, this is going back to junior high. This is SOHCAHTOA, right angle trigonometry, which is very, very important, very, very popular. And this is good that we're kind of brushing up on it. SOHCAHTOA, so let me clear this out. This is only for right triangles. SOHCAHTOA is only for right triangles. And that's what we have here. We've got a right triangle, and we want to find the hypotenuse. Well, I know the angle measure of W, and I know the adjacent side. 40 is adjacent to 60 degrees. So I need to look for the one that has adjacent. Cosine has adjacent because of the A. And tangent has adjacent because of the A. But I want to find the hypotenuse, so I'm going to use cosine. What was the cosine of 60? So the cosine of 60 degrees equals the adjacent over x. And then you're just solving for x. So I can multiply both sides by x. And then divide by cosine. Now, by the way, on your SAT, there's a non-calculator version, and this could be on the non-calculator version. And so you could just leave your answer like this. Actually, but cosine of 60 degrees is a special angle. We know that based on the unit circle, cosine of 60 is a half, and 40 divided by a half is 80. So that's what I would put for my answer. The x value is 80. The next one is identifying trig ratios. You see how it says timed. There's also a clock. This is a fun practice. This will time you and just give you an indefinite amount of questions. And this one happens to be multiple choice. So the sign of being excellent here is, even though this is a junior high sort of level situation, don't dismiss it. This is critically important. Right triangle trigonometry is very, very important. So sine of B, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So 76 divided by 95. And then sine of B, here's B, so 28 over 35. Sine of A, sine, again, still opposite over hypotenuse. So the opposite of A would be 3, and the hypotenuse is 5. Cosine, finally. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So adjacent to A is 36, and the hypotenuse is 45. So 36 over 45. Tangent of B. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Here's angle B. The opposite is 44. The adjacent is 33. So it's 44 over 33. And then just doing that, I mean, just find some time every day to practice those, and this will really, really help. We'll end on this one. So find the exact value of tangent of A in simplest radical form. So what they mean is rationalize the denominator. Here's A. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So the opposite of A is 14. The adjacent is rad 93. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm do 14 over rad 93. And rad 93 in the denominator is bad, so I'm going to multiply by 1. I can't multiply by anything else because otherwise I change the value. But I make 1 look like this. Isn't rad 93 divided by rad 93 1? Of course it is. In the numerator, I have 14 times rad 93. In the denominator, I just have 93. And now my denominator is 93. That's a rational number. And so that's what I would put in my answer. 14 rad 93 over 93. All right. Good luck, everybody. Please continue to practice. Thank you.